Alright, as I have a bit of a joyride down Trail 4 at Harcourt, Lala Bagara on Murnong, I thought I might talk about one of the projects that has been happening outside of Through an Amateur's Eyes, and that is the Emerald Jaeger homebrew project. So if you still read the WordPress blog, you would have noticed a few articles called the Brewer's Thesis, and that is essentially my typed up documentation and journey of homebrewing. And I love it as the hobby of creation, not as a hobby of drinking. Honestly, if I could just make one beer in a bottle and be done with it, that would just be really great. I'd love that. But you brew a batch, you share it with friends, that's why you love homebrew. So with Emerald Jaeger Homebrews, obviously named after this bike Jaeger, the first 3 beers I took on were a Calypso Session Ale, so that was known as Little Buddy. Then I went into a peach infused IPA, that was beer 2, that was Peach Belly. Shortly followed by a contemporary version of the Toucan Pash Mash of the Woolies Lager Society, but I did it with Coopers, and that became the 3rd beer, known as Going Merry. And then from those 3 beers, I learned a lot about flavour, oxidisation, how to bottle better, what I'd need to sort of progress. And that sort of led into the more contemporary phase, and probably my favourite phase of the homebrewing journey, which was the creation of Project Exige, as we've got a few kangaroos here to jump along with. You gotta love it. As I go across the trail, they're kicking up dust as I avoid that double. So Project Exige, that was a Lotus hopped IPA, and that was fantastic. There was Howdy Boy, that was my first attempt at a Bubble O Bill inspired ice cream, so it was a tin side brown with fermented strawberries, vanilla syrup and bubblegum syrup that I made myself, and my core pale ale, the Hopping Bandit. So that was beer number 10. So now I'm sort of in the more relaxed phase, which is smaller batches but actually trying to be a brewer. So using different hopping techniques, using all grain, like actually getting into the spirit of an actual brewer. So these beers include the Hopping Bandit version 2. So that just uses a canned extract of 2-row pale ale malt. There's Friday Night Leftovers, which was an XPA I made with leftover hops in my fridge. And it'll head towards the all grain projects, which will be Project Crankshaft, Project Ignition, and Naturally Aspirated. All being car references, but yeah. So I quite like the beers I make, and obviously you're only getting into homebrew for 2 reasons: to make beer cheaper than what you can buy it from the shops. I'm not sure if that's necessarily true with all the gear you have to buy sometimes, but the other thing is that you get to create whatever you want and say it's your own. So for me, definitely the peach infused IPA was a great step for me and something that I took a lot of pride in. I love my core pale ale, the Hopping Bandit, and as I move towards the all grain recipes, I really want to start using hops that not many commercial brewers use, because not many people in the main buy those sort of beers. So if you want to read up more about what I'm doing, Emerald Jaeger Homebrews, so that's on the WordPress page through an amateur's eyes. I have all my testings and findings on Untapped, so that's an app on your phone, or you can just go into the web browser version and search for Emerald Jaeger Homebrews. And if you know who I am and live near me and want to try some, just swing on by, you know. So until next time, drink responsibly, stay safe and keep warm.